Hi everyone, I'm really excited to share with you two sets of my brush pens today. The multicolor small brush pens. There are, I should know how many colors are there, 10 colors. I don't know, there's a color missing. And my dream pens, these are dual tip pens. You have a small brush, small to medium brush on the one end and a large brush on the other. And there's 10 colors of these. They're kind of rainbow colors. So let's take a look because I have a lot of questions about the sizes of all of these tips. We'll start with the dream pens. I have a package open, so I will show you these. I'm also going to use my paper pad. They're perforated for easy tear out. I'm just going to bend this and hold and just tear it along there like that. So we have our paper. You need smooth paper for the brush pens because your brush tips will actually deteriorate. Let's start with a pink. I'll demo with the pink. So we have the smaller tip and the larger tip. Let's take a look. I'll start with the larger tip. The larger tip, now I'm going to zoom in, I do want to emphasize that these are really, really stiff pens. So what does that mean if they're stiff? It means to get a thick stroke, you're going to push down really hard. So what I do recommend trying, if you find they're too stiff, is actually to push gently down like this, create some of these teardrop shapes, and get that pen flexing nicely for you. So that is what otherwise you will have a very stiff flex, and that's okay. You can write smaller, so you can write really small with a stiff flex, if the pen is very stiff. And you can write, if you soften it, you can write much bigger and get that nice thick downstroke, like so. All right, so you can see the kind of the different sizing. The thicker the brush tip, the larger the size in general. And again, if it's very stiff, you can get away with creating something a little bit smaller, which some people like. So this color is Blossom. I should actually have these colors memorized. This is the large tip. Okay, now let's flip over, snap your cap, make sure it's on tightly, and let's take a look at the smaller tip on the other end and see what size it is. So you can see it's the same color, but you can get very, very, very thin lines with this. So it depends how hard you want to push. You can get really much smaller, and that's why it's called a small brush tip. But this tip is much more flexible than the other brush tip size. So some of you who struggle with shakiness might see that shakiness in this very thin, soft tip. It might show up that way. So you can see I cannot get the super thick lines that I have with the larger brush tip. So that's why I kind of call this a small, even a smaller medium tip pen, but it's definitely not a large brush tip pen. So that is the comparison and that is the dream pen. Okay, now we have the small brush tip pens. These are all the same size and the tips are much smaller than the dream pen. So I will write the word small. This is the Blossom color. It is a really pretty pink, and you can see the flex is lovely and how small it is. I'm never going to get the thick lines that I did with the dream pen, and it is a beautiful, beautiful flex with this tip. So I'm going to enlarge so we can look at the comparison. Now, of course, you can write much bigger, much bigger with this small brush tip. You don't have to write small. Just like that. You can get really big, but I, in general, and I think most people, prefer to use it for smaller pieces. So that is a quick demo of the tips of these brush pens. I'll just take the cap off of this so you can have an idea of what you're looking at. The Dream Pen and the multicolor small brush tip pen. And thanks for watching.